Yeah, and just going back to kind of the brand stuff, and if you think of like Walmart versus Target, you can kind of immediately think of how you feel when you
Mhm.
walk into a Walmart. You probably have on like mismatched clothes, you might have on pajamas, you might have on in the middle of
There's
winter, like
SpongeBob involved. Yeah.
there certainly is SpongeBob involved.
I love
And
a Krabby Patty, you know what I'm saying?
and then you're like, "Okay, but if I go to Target, like, you might think a little bit more about, like, what you might be wearing." I mean, I know I
Mhm.
do that. I'm like, at Walmart, I know I can let my flag fly, okay? I go up in
And
there.
they're like, "Welcome, child."
I'm in the people of Walmart coloring book somewhere. I know it, and that's okay. I be in there, like, completely all jacked up. No bra on. It'll be the middle of winters. I got flip-flops on, you
You
know?
got a pot for your plant in this
I
arm and some organic coffee in this arm.
Uh, no, we don't get coffee at Walmart, okay? That is
See,
totally
that's
an
Target. That's
Arthur.
Target.
No, that's an Arthur's thing. I go to the
See?
store. So when you think of
Yeah.
right, and there's a market for everybody. Walmart has they're successful because they know that, like, that is who
That's
their
their
market
yep.
is. The
Mhm.
people who need something quick or, like, they're going in there and they don't we don't need to think of how we look when we go into Walmart. I
Mhm.
think I actually told you the one day I had, like, a whole suit on, and I was like, "I feel like I
You're
don't
like,
belong here.
"Mm-mm.
Everybody's
I need
looking
to be going
at
into
me."
Arthur's.
I tell
Women
you
in
what,
black."
I didn't get checked on my receipt, I'll tell you that one. They were like, "No, ma'am, you can just go. Here, we'll give you the back exit at this point."
In
But
fact, they're like, "Are you interested in a management role?"
and they're like, I'm like, "I don't belong here." I literally felt like everybody was looking at me. I'm like, "Holy shit, I should not be in Walmart right now."
Yeah,
So,
it's
like, when you think of and even the Starbucks versus Dunkin', yes, there's a totally different and again, we can have both, and we do have both, but it's kind of like a at what point are we gonna get which one, right? If I'm gonna
yes.
go in somewhere and work for the day, then likely I'm going to go to
Mhm.
a Starbucks, right?
Yep,
That's kind of what they have the brand experience around. I'm not gonna go
yep.
into Dunkin' to work ever, like,
Oh, I know.
ever.
I know. Well, now we can go to the bookstore because that's perfect.
But if I'm going to drive through and grab a quick coffee or something like that, then, like, I
Mhm.
might go to a Dunkin', or if I want a
Yeah.
meal deal or something like that, boom, I'm gonna go to Dunkin'.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
it's knowing, when someone's gonna kind of come into your store or what you want that brand experience to be, and kind of putting that experience out there so people can see themselves doing it, right?
Yep,
So
100%. And I think that is the core of what brand positioning is really trying to get at. I remember back in the day, I worked in a commercial real estate firm and I was involved in making the relocation and new growth packages. So we would pick strategic real estate based on where the client's brand position was and what other businesses kind of match that vibe, right? Because that you're going to see the Starbucks in the Target, right? Prime example of how of the strategy behind that. And I
that's a good
remember, you know what I'm saying?
more.
The
More.
it was really interesting because I remember at a time where I was kind of newer to an executive team and we were looking at relocation strategies. And there was this great piece of real estate that opened up for a potential location. And at the time, we had really strategically over years built ourselves into a brand position of value. A value brand position is a higher threshold, there's a better experience. It's kind of like the model you get what you pay for. And
Yeah.
then discount brands, that is a very strategic place. Walmart knows their place. They
Yep.
know their market, they know their people, and you feel at home if you're in that space, right? So I remember they wanted to open this location that was in more of a discount brand market. Just in terms of like, even if you run the numbers on the traffic counts and what type of sales volume and really what's the pricing strategy. Because if you go into that market, you better be ready to cut your prices. You're going to
Mhm.
have to, cut them pretty hard. And this is why when we look at like pricing strategies and offer strategies, particularly if you're just getting started out, if you're coming out of the gate with deep discounts, that's a hard thing to wind back because now in the consumer's mindset, they're thinking, oh,